All right, let's take a look at volume now. So this is the actual literal definition of volume. Seems kind of weird, but it's defined as the number of cubes that fill up an object, which is why we end up with, you know, in the end we have units cubed, like feet cubed or cubic inches, stuff like that. Literally the amount of cubes that could fill up an object. Okay, and the way we do that here is we find the area of our base and multiply it by the height, and that would give you all the space inside the thing. All right, so looking at a prism, so like I said, we're going to find the area of the base and multiply it by the height, and that will give us volume. So let's shade our bases. We'll just stick with these ones because that's what we've been doing. Okay. So it's the area of our base times the height. That will give you the volume. Okay, different than the lateral area. Lateral area, we just found the perimeter of the base times the height. To find volume, you find the whole area of the base times the height. Okay, well, how would you find the area of this base? Okay, well, that's clearly a rectangle, so you could do base times height or length times width. So area of one base is just length times width. That's what I put right there. Okay, so you guys have probably learned the formula length times width times height, right? Because that would be area of your base, length times width, times your height. Okay, now I'm not going to go with length times width times height. I'm just going to put area of the base times the height. So go ahead and fill that part out. Okay, reason why I'm not doing just length times width times height is because that actually only works if your polyhedron has a rectangle base. Okay, so if it's a rectangular prism, length times width times height, that works. But think about it. If your base is a triangle, let's say it's a triangular prism, well, to find the area of a triangle base, you don't do length times width, right? In fact, you do base times height divided by 2. Okay, so in general, we would just say area of our base times our height because this base could be really any shape. All right, that brings us to our practice problems because right now we're going to skip over cylinders. Yeah, let's try some of these. So let's practice finding lateral area, total surface area, and volume. Let's start with lateral area. Now I'm going to be really picky in this chapter about writing out all your formulas, putting in all your substitutions, showing your work basically. Okay, so let's always start with writing our formula. So lateral area for prism is perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, well, our bases are triangles, right? We can shade those in. Keep in mind, if you shade these bases, we did kind of shade over this right angle. I'm going to highlight that because that's going to be important in a minute. All right, so perimeter of the base. Could we find that? We've got 9, 12, and this side, well, our bases are always congruent, so this side would be 15. So adding all those up, we get, for our perimeter, 36. Oh, I changed my color. That's okay. Okay, times our height. So remember, height is the distance between your bases, so times 11. Okay, so go ahead and do that math. And we end up with our lateral area is 396. This would be meters squared because we're talking about area. So that area, we just found all the area of those 3 faces, basically. Everything except for the 2 bases. We used the bases to help us find that. Okay, so let's go ahead and find total surface area, which is basically it's our lateral area, right? P times H, plus our 2 bases, so 2B. So from here, instead of redoing perimeter times height, we just found that. So let's go ahead and just plug in 396 plus 2 times B. Now remember, this is the area of your base. So if you take a look at our base, it's a triangle. So that area formula is base times height divided by 2. Okay, this is where you're going to have something different depending on your shape. Always plug in the formula for the area of that particular shape, which is a triangle. Okay, so be careful when you identify your base and your height of your triangle. If it's a right triangle, your base and height are always the legs. So don't include this 15, that's the hypotenuse. So up here, we're looking at 9 times 12. So 9 times 12 divided by 2. And this will happen sometimes where if you divide by 2 and you multiply by 2, you might as well make your life easier and cross those out. So you're doing 396 plus 9 times 12. And that is going to give us 504 meters squared for total surface area. Good. All right, last one, we're going to find volume. I think volume is always the easiest. So it's a short formula too. It's area of your base times your height. Okay, area of our base is this thing right here. That's why this one's easy, because you usually have found that by now. So area of your base was 9 times 12 divided by 2. Oh, my email's popping up here. Okay, and then times the height of our figure, which is 11. Be careful that you don't cross out the 2. We can't do that over here because we're not also multiplying by 2. So you have to include that part. All right, let's go ahead and simplify that. And we should end up with 594 meters cubed for volume. There you go. Let's double check all our answers here. Boom, we got it. Okay, let's try this one now. If you want to try it on your own, you can pause this and go for it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep working through it right here. Let's do lateral area first. Okay, well, identify your base shapes. These are our bases, which we have trapezoids here. I'm going to go ahead. I'll just shade this bottom one so we keep in mind. I don't want to shade over the 4 there. Okay, so lateral area is always perimeter of the base times our height. Okay, well, perimeter of our base would just be 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 12, because it's going to be the same as that one. So let's add all that up. And we get 28 times our height, which distance between the bases would be 8. Go ahead and do that math. You should end up with 224 meters squared again here. Lateral area. Okay, let's go ahead and do surface area, which is just our lateral area. So I'm going to put that in right there. 224, we just found it, plus 2b, 2 of our bases. Okay, now keep in mind that b stands for area of our base, which is a trapezoid. So we're going to plug in the formula for area of a trapezoid right there, which I will provide you. I'm sure you probably remember that by now. We've done it a lot. So area of our base for trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. And that magical thing happens right here where you can, boom, cross out those 2's. So let's plug that stuff in. So we're really doing base 1 plus base 2, which would be 6 plus 12. The parallel ones, those are our bases. Times the height. Be really careful. I have a lot of kids want to plug in the height, like the height of the whole figure, 8. In this set of parentheses, we're just looking at one trapezoid. So the height of the trapezoid is right here. It's 4. Be really careful with that. Okay, let's go ahead and do all that math. And you should get 296 meters squared for surface area. All right, that just leaves us with volume. Of course, you can try that on your own if you want. I'm going to do it over here. It's area of the base times the height, always. Area of our base is the trapezoid, so really, you're plugging in this formula. So base 1 plus base 2 again, 12 plus 6 times our height of 4, all over 2. Make sure you do the over 2 part here because we're not multiplying by 2, so we can't cross it out.